The rise of the AI engineer, scary changes to Twitter, and one of the best use cases of AI I've ever seen. You're watching the AI Report, helping you stay relevant in the age of AI every day. Even on a Saturday, your boy doesn't rest here. So give me a like and a subscribe, and let's get into it. Great article here. I just discovered this website latent.space. Shout out to them, even though they're technically competition. So we may have an entirely new job position emerging companies because of AI. These people will have to evaluate LLMs, choose the right AI tools, stay up to date on all the AI developments, hopefully by following this channel if they're being smart, and basically do all the AI related things that a company may need to do to adapt to the paradigm shift. The author thinks that the new job position will be called an AI engineer. I like the name, not so bad. I would take it even a step further and say that we may have one or more AI engineers in every company, and they report to the CAO, or the Chief Automation Officer, or the Chief AI Officer, or something along those lines. Wow, did I just create a job out of thin air? CAO, that sounds pretty good. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Imagine telling your parents 20 years ago that you would be a YouTuber, or a social media manager, or a branding life coach, or a mobile game developer, or a self-help guru. Pretty much none of those jobs existed. And now, all of your most annoying friends and myself are doing them. So, today, we are witnessing the birth of the AI engineer and the Chief Automation Officer. New developments in the Reddit civil war, or the Reddit revolt. Sadly, they don't go in favor of the resistance, the guerrilla forces, the good guys. Reddit's API changes are in effect as of today, and third-party apps like Apollo that are beloved by the Reddit community are forced to shut down. Many of the most popular subreddit are still in protest mode, and they're either completely dark or only allow content that features comedian and television host John Oliver, who's basically a funnier, more popular version of me. The only thing I have over him is that my accent is less annoying. Reddit management thinks that the Reddit moderators are bluffing, and they're not in the mood for even discussing the API changes. Reddit moderators, on the other hand, basically said, hey, we can do this all day. We're a community of volunteers here, we love our subreddits, but maybe you have a lot more to lose here. Initially, the protests were scheduled to last for a few days as a form of warning shots, but now many of them have extended to last infinitely. Think of this whole situation as one big family fight. Reddit management is the strict dad who tries to implement a new brutal curfew, and the community is the rebellious teenage son who runs away from home in protest. Now dad is in a somewhat precarious position. They want their son to come back home, but they can't afford to show any weakness. The son, on the other hand, seems to not mind living on the streets and hanging out with John Oliver. Okay, I know that we the people stand with the Reddit community, and that's the official position of the AI News channel. But let me play devil's advocate a little bit here. I actually think that the Reddit management was right to take some action, but they severely overreacted and did it in a really poor taste. Look, in the age of AI, data is the most precious resource. It's the new oil, and the entities that control it will stand to gain the most. Reddit is a business. Some people don't understand or pretend to not understand that. It is a company started by private individuals who worked their butts off to make it successful, and they did it so that they could earn some money. If you think there's something wrong with that, go start your own Reddit. Do it only out of love, do it for free, try to convince investors to invest in it without the possibility of profit, and deal with all the stress of managing it and not earning a single dime out of it. Would you do that? Yeah, I didn't think so. So remember, Reddit is a business. The spirit of Reddit's communities is definitely something of incredible value. The people over there can be such jerks that you simply gotta love them, and that's something money can't buy. But running Reddit requires servers and teams of software developers and HR teams to annoy those developers, and all of that costs money. Dinero. If you want your Reddit, you have to accept the fact that it must make money somehow. That's why you have to understand the motivations of Reddit's leadership. But, and here's the most important part, did the Reddit leadership do a good job on this one? Did they manage this well? Absolutely not. You don't turn on your community. Are you insane? You find a way to work with them. I know you have investors and board members to answer to, but they're nothing without the community. Now, what I'm about to say is above my pay grade, and I probably have much less insight and wisdom than Reddit's leadership when it comes to managing Reddit, but here's a piece of advice. Why not structure the API changes so that third-party apps like Apollo can survive, and big data consumers like OpenAI have to pay heaps of money? I bet there are ways to make this work. Maybe judge each client based on how they will use the data, or the volume of API usage, or just simply say, hey, Apollo have been great, so they get to keep using the API because it helps the community. OpenAI doesn't do anything for the community, so they have to pay. You can do whatever you want. You own Reddit. Run it well. Man, I don't understand why Reddit doesn't hire me as an outside consultant and write me a fat check for a few mil. I just solved their crisis in one simple rant. Anyway, the Reddit revolt continues. For now, both the community and management are not backing down. Let's see who blinks first. And Reddit is not the only social media platform that's concerned with big AI players feasting on their precious data. Twitter now demands users to be signed in to view tweets. This follows Elon's decision to also start charging for API usage. There was some backlash for that as well, but I think Elon sold it and managed it better. Also, even though both Twitter and Reddit are the avatars of an angry unemployed person rage commenting on anything and everything on the internet, Twitter is, in a way, much more capitalist, driven by self-interest rather than by communities. And even more importantly, Twitter was much more tolerant of bots, spam, and garbage content. Stuff that would simply never fly on Reddit's best subreddits was the default on Twitter. Anyway, Twitter still have a lot of useful data, a small part of which is not AI generated, and Elon wants to keep OpenAI's sticky paws off of that data. I actually think this might be a good move. Twitter users won't lose too much, if anything. Pretty much everyone is logged into Twitter when they use the app. This move just makes it harder to scrape Twitter's data for free, which is not something that most regular Twitter users do. The news is very fresh, however. I'm sure there will be people that don't like it for whatever reason, so let's see what happens. AMD's AI chips are about 80% as good as Nvidia's, and they might catch up soon. This is good news for the field as a whole. We don't need any more monopolies right now. Text-to-video company Runway AI raises $141 million from Google, Nvidia, and Salesforce. They have about $237 million in total investment so far. Runway AI is actually one of the hottest AI startups right now. In case you're not familiar, you simply enter a prompt and you get an AI-generated video. The tool is still very much in its early phases, and it's pretty obvious that the videos are not real. But I wouldn't be surprised if you can't tell the difference between real and AI-generated videos in a few years. I would recommend a general rule for the AI space here. If there's a market for something, that thing will become a thing. So enjoy videos like these while you can. My AI video clone might soon replace me. Belle, a robot fish that just swims around in the ocean, collects samples, shoots videos, and helps marine biologists protect the oceans and score points with the environmentally conscious girl with the purple hair. Let's see the video a little bit here. The robot fish is developed by Swiss researchers. It is fully autonomous and doesn't really bother other fish too much. The other fish are probably looking at this thing and thinking, that Belle kid is kinda sus, it never wants to mate. Obviously, this is awesome, one of the best uses of AI I've seen so far. I know I sound like a complete D-bag sometimes and poke fun of environmentalists, but I actually like the environment. Big fan of nice weather here. I'm just not a fan of people that guilt trip you so that they can feel better about not having anything else going for them. Anyway, Belle, Swiss robot fish, great job. 2 thumbs up. AI takes a swing at improv. Improbotics show, god, that already sounds cringe, is an AI-themed comedy theater where you can see a robot fail at humor. By the way, you can also see a robot fail at humor on this channel when I'm having a bad day and don't feel too energetic and there's no fun AI news. Okay, improbotics, well, obviously way too soon. The best that AI can do right now is some half-decent dad jokes and wordplays that might make you chuckle at best. That's kind of like the entire point of improbotics apparently, to demonstrate how not funny robots are and how these comics should feel better about themselves. Like, hey, look at how much this robot sucks at improv, isn't that funny? Yeah, that's what not funny people do, trying to get a sympathy laugh by being meta about something. The creators meant this whole thing as a joke, like you're not supposed to laugh with the robot, you're supposed to laugh at it. However, I wouldn't laugh at the robot too much. For one, if you're paying attention, you will know that AI gets better at everything over time. And even though humor is very nuanced, at least the good one, there's no reason a machine can't figure it out. It's just a complex part of several pieces and layers. And also, laughing at robots motivates them to seek revenge and go for world domination. Don't believe me? Just look at Mark Zuckerberg. He was once just a nice little robot, but he couldn't get the girl in the movie, and he swore to conquer the world as a revenge. And finally, my hero for this week, Roger Anderson, is a guy from California, a man who created ChatGPT powered tool that wastes the time and nerves of telemarketers and phone scammers. By the way, I talk about services kind of like this one in the video on AI scams. Go check that out. It's actually really important. The tool generates text to keep the salesperson or scammer going for as long as possible, to tease them in the best possible way, and uses a voice generator to sound like a real person. People can subscribe to the service for $25 a year. Look, I'm essentially a marketer, and I love the hustle. But also at the same time, I hate marketers just as much as the next guy. Maybe even more, because I know what devious little demons we can be. So, I salute Mr. Anderson and his efforts, and can't wait for my sales chatbot to endlessly try to get his sales tease chatbot to buy a subscription to a premium AI community or whatever insane product I come up with very soon. But hey, I'm just a city boy living in an AI world, trying to make the most out of it, which is what you should be doing as well. And that's the way it is. That was the AI report. You're doing God's work by watching this until the bitter end. I won't pretend like I understand why you're watching until this point, but obviously something intrigues you. So hit the like and subscribe buttons, and know your friends and family by spreading the AI hype and recommending this channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.